Skyrim has been beaten with all 3 novice destruction spells: Flames, Frostbite, and Sparks. But what many don't know is that
there is another.
Choking Grasp. Well, besides Vampiric Drain, but others have done playthroughs based on the fancy mosquitoes already. Choking Grasp is a spell added by the Creation Club that allows you to suck the life right out of your foes like a Capri Sun. While it may seem trivial to beat the game with it, that's only if you forego another restriction: healing. Yep, the only way I'm gonna be able to deal damage or heal myself is with the Choking Grasp spell. No food of any kind, and no potions that affect my health. Not only that, but I'm not allowed to use any other spells or shouts unless required to beat the game. The final 2 rules are that I must play on at least Adept difficulty, although I'll crank it up if things get too easy, and I'm not allowed to have any followers. So, with that, I ask the question: can you beat Skyrim with only choking? Well, after being suddenly choked into unconsciousness, I awaken on a cart that is slowly but surely rolling to my death. Not only that, but I'm accompanied by Rayloaf, Lorcan, and Ol Stormcloak. I have to say, even though I'm going to die, being tied up with a guy with a gag on is pretty exciting. Anyways, that's not important. Let's focus on the execution. Lorcan gets
My heart.
which just confirms my theory about him, and I'm next on the chopping block. Of course, they want my head to look good sitting in a bucket, so they let me do my makeup first. I sculpt a character who I imagine is very proficient at choking people, a high elf goth dominatrix. Pray to Talos, everyone, because it's only gonna get more degenerate from here. I give her a name that's as subtle as a cinder block to the spinal cord, watch Ulfric get bossed around by a guy in a skirt, and watch someone get the wrong kind of head. So, no head? Nope. I would have preferred a noose considering the challenge, but oh well, I guess the run is over. Ah, my knight in shining scales here to rescue me. Not by choice, of course, but still. Wait, how did this guy die? Did his shouting give him a heart attack or something? Regardless, I run through Helgen like a chicken with its head cut off until I escape to the keep, to which Hadvar cuts the air, somehow causing my binds to loosen. I suppose his dagger has a telekinesis enchantment. Anyways, upon seeing a guy in a skirt, my dominant instincts flare up and I attempt to shoulder check him into submission.
See if one of these chests has a... See if... Got to be a...
He retaliates by repeating the same line over and over.
You better get some gear. You better get some gear. You better get some gear.
Okay, shut up! Since you can't get Choking Grasp until after you leave Helgen, I raise and lower my fist to get the first few Stormcloaks to spare me, in the interest of staying alive.
Must have scared them off.
Yeah, you sure scared them alright. Scared their souls into Sovngarde, that is. For the next fight, I still don't participate, but I do cheer on Hadvar to boost his confidence. I wait for the soldiers to kill each other, then swipe their stuff like a vulture. This will be important for actually affording the spell tome. I then do some
Epic MLG dodging.
to avoid the frostbite spiders, and attempt to lure the bear into them so they fight each other. It seems they're on the same side, however, so I simply run away into... Ah, the sweet, sweet wilds of Skyrim. Full of flowers to grab, mage stones to activate, and very uncreatively named stores. I shoulder check the Valerius family so I don't have to listen to them blab, but the game still acts like I heard their conversation. I'll get to the golden back scratcher later. For now, I just shove all my unwanted trash into Lucan's body until he coughs up some gold. I also rob Alvor blind, with consent of course.
Of course. But what's all this about?
You didn't trade anything. You just stole all my shit.
Since I can't use food, healing potions, scrolls, spell tomes, or weapons, I'll be selling 90% of the stuff I come across. Money probably won't be a problem. I know the closest place to get my spell is Whiterun, so I head there right away only to see some mercenaries bullying a huge old man. Again, I don't participate, but I do offer moral support. They don't seem to appreciate my help.
Well, that's taken care of. No thanks to you.
However, Domina is not one to be pushed around.
Glory only awaits those who Hey, watch it!
City's closed with the dragons. Hey, watch it!
Well, I suppose I'll just use my silver tongue instead. Now in the city of Whiterun, which out of context is a very racist name for it, I trash Bellathor's shop as an initial show of force.
Right now. What can I do for you?
Everything's for sale, my friend.
What are you doing that for?
Everything. I'd even buy one of your relatives.
And then have the audacity to trade with the poor bastard afterwards. Entering the Jarl's court, as we discuss what to do about the dragons, Proventus begins to yap, so I ram into him, shattering his confidence and forcing him to do a pep walk to calm down.
Let's go find Farengar. He's been looking into a matter related to these dragons and rumors of dragons and rumors of dragons.
I'm really just here for Farengar, the court wizard, who sells me Choking Grasp as early as level 1 for the mere price of 201 gold. The spell absorbs 8 points of health from the target per second for 3 seconds, adding up to 24 damage per cast. For context, Firebolt, which is apprentice level, not novice, does 25 damage and doesn't heal you at that. Yeah, the Creation Club isn't exactly known for silly things like balance and progression. Now, with the ability to choke bad boys into submission, I thought I'd test how good the spell is by clearing out a bandit-infested mine, but...
That's close enough. That's close enough.
Can I really kill someone who's going through a manic episode? The answer is yes.
No! No!
As you can see, yeah, it's pretty effective. This guy flies into the air, this guy dies mid-swing, and this Khajiit gets stuck in a glitchy kill cam before... I'm not exactly sure what's happening, I just know I like it. My first perk is Novice Destruction, which halves the cost. This is good as it's shockingly easy to miss with this spell if you're not careful, so I'll want to be able to cast it as much as I can. The only problem is, I think my enemies are enjoying it. Harder. Wait, what? Another quirk with this spell is that despite absorbing life force directly and doing no physical damage, it still destroys cobwebs and even makes them glow blue as if they were an enemy. As for the giant spider, being a tall high elf actually increases your movement speed, and I'm wearing robes that don't slow you down. This means I can dodge and weave, no pun intended, most of its attacks, and even if it does manage to poison me, the health absorption basically prevents my health bar from moving. Seeing Arvel all bound up and helpless like this excites me, so I suck the poor bastard dry.
Why should I share the treasure?
Surprisingly enough, you can absorb health from the undead, so by standing on a ledge I can kill the first few and reach level 3, getting the Destruction dual casting perk. This allows me to overclock Choking Grasp at a higher magicka cost. You can see how effective it is as I choke out this restless Draugr with ease. The rest of the mummies don't fare much better. I open the claw door from memory, and I show the Overlord who the real top dog is, by somehow moving faster than the speed of sound. He's even trying to run away. How pathetic. I hand the golden claw to Nick Valentine.
The Riverwood Trader is back to the way it used to be.
And the Dragonstone to Farengar, not before slipping a chicken breast into Delphine's pocket, of course, as one does. Irileth has a much more important task for me, however.
Farengar, you need to come to a dragon at once. You should come to a dragon too.
A guard rushes up to the Jarl to tell his story and... Okay, is it just me, or is this guy's accent just the best?
It was fast. Faster than anything I've ever seen. I never ran so fast in my life.
Alright, we better be forced if we want to catch this dragon and send him to foster care. But first, we have to do the obligatory Skyrim joke.
Double kill.
What happened?
While I do a decent amount of damage to him, he can still wipe out most of my health with a single attack, so I have to be somewhat cautious. Still, it's the first dragon you face and you have plenty of backup, so I'm able to suck his soul right out of his body after a few tries. No dragon can stand up to my double suction Gawk Gawk Skin Melter combo 5000. After proving myself capable, some dirty old hermits try to get in my DMs. Jarl Balgruuf then names me Thane and hands me an axe, which I politely refuse. I think it's better in his hands anyway. After steamrolling through Bleak Falls Barrow, I make an executive decision. Not only do I raise the game's difficulty to Expert, I disable natural health regeneration with the console command player.forceAV heal rate 0. This means the only way I can heal is with Choking Grasp, leveling up, or sleeping, although I never sleep in this playthrough except for the one time it's required for the main quest. Regardless, skeletons in Skyrim are brittle and calcium deprived due to the Nords not wanting to be milk drinkers, so retrieving Ander's amulet is a simple affair. Before heading off to High Hrothgar, I take a ride to Riften to choke out a very naughty girl.
Do I make myself?
Kill one person and you can solve so many problems.
Wow, that kill was, through the roof. Then I steal some things from the blacksmith's house because, well, I've never been in there and I wanted to see what it was like and okay, enough distractions. I really came here to do a quest that I thought was quite fitting for the character, Caught Red-Handed. Although I think Caught White-Handed would be more fitting.
She's disgusting. Do you know she slept with
7,000
different men in the last month alone?
Savannah, don't you think we should be discussing this in private? And not so loudly? Since my speech skill is so low, I have to resort to pickpocketing. I fail the first few times on the Dunmer, but somehow succeed on the attempt where he turns around to talk to me. For Bali, I use the age-old tactic of hiding in the basement and swiping his mark from below. Lastly, I managed to swipe Horse Crusher's mark on my first try. When I show them to the Homewrecker, she tries to bribe me away with a Scroll of Banish Undead. Never mind why she has that, I can't use any other spells besides Choking Grasp, so this scroll means nothing to me. I don't have an option to report her infidelity to the wives of the men she slept with, though, so I just get my reward from Savannah.
It was my father's, but I'm certain you'll put it to good use. Sure, leave. Not like you care anyway.
Whoa, way to be bipolar. I just helped you. Now, let's see if there's anything else in Helga's room I can... Oh. This woman and Domina have a lot in common. Fuck, where did you come from?
Lucky for you, that was just sitting there for the taking.
Oh shit, she can teleport. Run, run, run.
Sorry, this place clean is quite a chore. The bunkhouse isn't an inn. I'd recommend the Bee and Barb.
I think I need a relaxing swim after that. Luckily, there's a river I can swim down to go straight to Iverstead. No sabercat dodging or running through volcanic plains needed. The good news about going up this mountain is that the air is thinner, making it easier to choke fools.
I cannot best.
Now that I'm Lord Death of Murder Mountain, I prove myself to the Greybeards, peace-loving monks who are masters of the voice. I was curious if they'd get mad if you didn't wait for your turn when training Whirlwind Sprint, but nope. They just asked me to get them horny. I mean, get them the horn of Jurgen Windcaller. Right, misheard you for a second. But before I do that, I'm gonna get an upgrade in the form of, hey, what's this tower about?
You must be one of those wizards from the college in Winterhold.
Huh, sure I am. Want me to show you one of my tricks?
Stop that!
Do your worst.
Damn, his axe almost got revenge for him.
Hey, be careful!
You're pushing, girl.
Bandits attacked and ransacked my cart. Can you help me?
My men. What did you do? You'll die for this.
You know, you seem oddly confident considering I single-handedly killed all your friends. Let's get back on track. I get an upgrade in the form of the Atronach Stone, which gives me bonus magicka and a 50% chance to absorb spells to restore my magicka. Considering my spell absorbs health, it only makes sense to be able to absorb other things too. While it does reduce my magicka regeneration rate by 50%, my Highborn racial ability and Mage's Robes more than make up for that. Now we're off to Ustengrav, and here's a fun fact. If you wait long enough, the necromancers in the first room will run off and fight the Draugr with the rest of them, making things a bit easier for you. Not that things need to be easier, as the Draugr here don't put up much of a fight. Even on Expert, it's still an early game dungeon, so I can't be too surprised. While the skeletons can deal a lot of damage with their arrows, they also crumble to bits just as quickly. I have to use Whirlwind Sprint here to get past the magic gate. Then I block the spiracles of some spiders until they pass out, and finally get the Horn of Jurgen, not the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller. Unlike Domina, Delphine is smart enough to use the obligatory looping dungeon door, so she got here before us so she could lure us to Riverwood. Before going along with her scheme, I'd like to get a bit more adept with the art of choking, so I head to Solitude to do the side quest Lights Out. On the way, I give Rogvir's death a little more dramatic flair.
I'll try and best in Skyrim. Must have scared him off. Give up while you still can.
Jari Ra's task is simple. He wants me to put out a lighthouse fire so a ship crashes into the shore. That way his bandits can save the crew and take the treasure for themselves. And he says this right in front of a guard. Smart move. After a short jog, just ignore the random murder, I scale the lighthouse and I'm sorely disappointed when I can't snuff the oxygen out of the fire with Choking Grasp. Oh well, I put it out by smacking it with my bare hands, presumably, and get directed to Deja for my reward. But, as it turns out, it's a trap! So I activate my Highborn power and begin turning the Black Bloods into the Lack Bloods.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
This is actually the first time I realized this spell has a lot more range than you'd expect. I assumed it worked like an Oblivion touch spell, but it actually fires an invisible projectile so you can absorb health from a distance. If only I knew that before, it would have made things a lot easier. With this in mind, I quite easily clear out the rest of the pirate.
Guess it's all clear.
Ah, except them. Yeah, while the first few might have been wimps, Jari Ra and the captain are quite tanky, and two-handed weapons can lock me in a death cam quite easily. Jari Ra's ice staff ends up working more to my favor than his, as the Atronach Stone lets me recover my magicka very quickly. I end up having to run around like a maniac, going up and down and kiting out the bandits until I'm finally able to whittle them down and complete the quest, which earns me some nice loot to sell. Speaking of the Atronach Stone, I use this loot to afford an Amulet of Akatosh from Andari, which boosts my magicka regen by 25%. Combine this with the 75% from my robes, and the Atronach Stone's penalty is completely negated and then some. Okay, now it's time to see what Delphine has in store for me. Fun fact, if you close the door as soon as you walk into her room, for a split second she acts as if you haven't yet. She wants me to kill a dragon to prove I'm Dragonborn, yeah, but more importantly, she kept the chicken breast. I don't know why I'm so excited by that. I fast travel to the Atronach Stone to approach Kynegrove from the back. Usually I fast travel to the Windhelm stables and come at it at the front, but I decided to mix it up a bit. I then begin to choke the bad dragon before he even gets his skin back. With the Highborn power and Delphine providing backup, it's not too long until I've sucked another dragon dry, and now have to go to Solitude to infiltrate the Falmer. I mean the Thalmor. I shove all my worldly possessions up Malborn's ass so we can smuggle it in. Now, the party. I am introduced to Elenwen, who is also a high elf lady that exudes a dominant aura. Maybe in another life we could have gotten along, but for now I get Rosalind to slut-shame her, choke out a kitty, and use Malborn as a human, well, elven shield against some Thalmor. That is, until I accidentally choke him, giving me a bounty in the Reach, despite the only witnesses being the Thalmor that couldn't care less. And then, as I check out my new elven drip, one of the Thalmor spares me?
I'll let you live, this time.
Well, I won't.
Mercy!
Because of the Atronach Stone, choking out the rest of my high elf kin goes fairly smoothly. It's actually smarter to keep the mages alive until you've dealt with the rest, as you can use them as living magicka batteries. I get Destruction to 40 in the Impact perk, which is supposed to make destruction spells stagger enemies when dual cast. Only, it doesn't work on Choking Grasp for some reason. Well, that was a waste of a perk, but to be fair, there aren't many other perks I could use right now, and I feel like it would make the run a complete cakewalk. With that, I strangulate the rest of the Thalmor.
Don't kill me.
And report my findings to Delphine. Now we have to find some crazy old coot who lives in the sewers. Great. Due to only wearing robes and light armor, the scum and the ratways can do a fair amount of damage to me, although I can inflict a fair amount in return. My magicka running out is getting to be more and more of a problem, however. Let's just hope I can find some choice magical gear soon. Of course, the Thalmor's magic makes that a non-issue for now, but I elect to ignore the first few you fight until I get Esbern. He's forced on you for part of the main quest, so using him isn't against the rules. He does seem a bit shy, though.
Go away! Delphine? How do you... Oh, this is just a trick to get me to open the door, huh? I told you to go away. What's that? You'd better come inside. Quickly now.
Thalmor agents have been sealing the
Ratway. Come in. Mustn't speak.
After spouting some "the end is nigh" drivel, he agrees to come with me to Delphine so we can form a plan of attack. That is, until the Thalmor come to end us. With Esbern's help, I'm more than capable of garretting them, although their wards blocking my spells is quite annoying. When I leave, I take Shivari, the only non-caravan Khajiit you can find in a town I believe, for a little swim. As we've all heard the talk with Delphine and Esbern before, I fuck with them a bit. I shoulder check everyone so they shut up, as you do, toss out Esbern's bitch-ass book, and put a wheel of cheese in its place.
This is where they built Aldrin's Wall.
Oh, is it now? I then find out, to my delight, that Esbern's head follows the book if you drag it around him. Skyrim truly is the gift that keeps on giving. Long story short, Alduin's Wall, read it, find out how to kill Alduin. But again, there's another quest that would be quite fitting for my character, and I wouldn't mind a few more levels in Destruction, plus the quest is in Markarth where I need to go for Alduin's Wall anyway. So, I sneak into the Sanctum of Dibella, but am stopped by a priestess who tells me the Mother will deal with me. And then she walks away. Is anyone going to... Oh, there we go. For my transgression to be forgiven, I have to find a child and bring her to be the Sibyl of Dibella. Nothing is stopping me from just ignoring them and never repaying my offense, but I still do so, as my character can relate to the girl bosses of Dibella. Arriving in Karfspire, I decide to take care of another one of the town's problems, that being the Silverblood Mercs. Doing so apparently gets you access to the Orc strongholds, and while that doesn't matter for this playthrough, I'll have to keep that in mind for future runs. Even on expert difficulty and with little armor, the Forsworn here aren't much of a threat. The purpose of doing these side quests is to test how good the spell is in different scenarios. From what I've seen so far, Creation Club spells are pretty damn powerful, even the novice ones. I'm certain that if I graduated to higher level spells like Strangulation and Hangman's Noose, I would be one or two-shotting most opponents and healing all my health after every fight. I considered changing the difficulty to Master, but that would just lead to a lot of tanky, boring fights and unfair kill cams. I want this to be hard, but I also want to have fun, you know? Speaking of tanky, the Forsworn Briarheart fits the bill, and he tends to heal himself right when he's about to die. My only saving grace is his Flame spell, which I can use to recover my magicka. Jeez, finally. Now, let's get the kid and get the hell out. Drinking Dibella's Painter Girl bathwater gives me a power that increases damage against the opposite sex. Now I can choke naughty boys even more efficiently. I immediately put this power to use, along with a potion of destruction against the Forsworn. I know I could just run inside the temple and skip all this, but where's the fun in that? Jesus, I forgot how busted these ice storms are. You okay, buddy? After the dragon stops being lazy, I... Ah, right. Blood dragon. Not to be taken lightly. I use a potion of magicka regen and hide behind a flimsy piece of hide to finally fell the beast. No use for its soul, but it's more about the principle of the thing, you know? One thing I always wondered is how the Forsworn never figured out this puzzle. All you have to do is turn the pillars to the same symbol, there's only 3 options, and there's no penalty for getting it wrong. Surely one of them would have activated it by chance at this point. Also, I don't know how, but I somehow managed to land on the right tiles to jump across the puzzle instead of doing it normally. Always love flexing on the Akaviri. The wall reveals that I need a shout to defeat Alduin, a matter I take up with the Greybeards, to which I learn that Parthenax, their leader, is who I need to Tinvok with. So, they teach me the weather forecast shout, and I scale my way up the mountain, almost becoming an Ice Wraith's lunch in the process. Parthenax wants me to prove myself Dova-born, so I blow smoke up his ass.
Ah, yes.
And after a philosophical debate, he tells me that I need an Elder Scroll to look into the past for the shout to slay Alduin. Simple enough, I'll just grab one at my local Barnes & Nobles. No, I have to freeze my tits off to talk to a crazy old hermit, who hands me a lexicon for... Wait, is that the Dwemer puzzle cube from Morrowind? Makes you think. Every enemy so far, from humans to animals to dragon, undead, ghosts, Daedra, and elementals, has been able to be choked and sucked of their life force. Except Dwemer automatrons. They're completely immune. This means I just have to
run like hell
from all of them until I come across the Falmer, whom I can choke. However, the Falmer are also quite tough and can poison you, making my healing less effective. While I managed to slay some of them on the walkway that I usually skip with Become Ethereal, they proved too much for me, so I make a hasty retreat once more. I can tell that this spell is starting to fall off, as even basic spiders almost manage to kill me. The next few Falmer I lure into their own bitch slap machine to kill, although I have to deal with the final one the old-fashioned way. I don't even bother with the Steam Centurion and focus on the 2 treasure hunters instead. Since they're so intent on fighting each other, it lets me regain my health and kill Umana while they're distracted. Sola is tankier and uses healing spells, so I let the Centurion deal with him and then slip past it to Blackreach. Nothing to say much in Blackreach as, like usual, I just run past everything to the scroll, just without Become Ethereal this time. The scroll's puzzle solution is burned into my mind at this point, so no trouble there. Unlike almost every other shout in the game, I don't need a Dragon Soul or a Gift of Knowledge to wield Dragon Rend. This is because the concepts of mortality and impermanence are ingrained in the human experience. Sorry, didn't mean to get existential. Let's fight a big-ass dragon. I bought several potions for this fight. Potions of resist fire, frost, and magic, magicka potions, and potions to increase my light armor skill. This is because Alduin can use both fire and frost breath, switching between the one you have the least resistance to. My best strategy is to lay on as much damage as possible, and when he uses a breath attack, either get Parthenax to distract him, use Dragon Rend to stagger him, or hide behind a rock until it's over. I have to keep constantly Dragon Rending him, as I don't want to waste my Highborn power if he decides to fly away. I only get one use of it, and I want to make it count. Parthenax acts as a great ally as I keep chipping away at him, pretty much healing back any damage he does to me. Once he's grounded, I pop Highborn and use it to wail on him with spells. This gets him to low health where I take cover, down a potion or two, and finish him off, choking Alduin into submission once and and he flew away. Now I have to negotiate a peace council so Jarl Balgruuf will let me trap and interrogate a dragon in his palace for Alduin's location. Damn, that's a mouthful. I make sure to hit up Tullius first, as Ulfric won't agree until you get him to, and then, well, you can't blame me for this. I use set global time multiplier to speed up the boring ass peace talk. This doesn't actually help me in any way besides saving time, and the peace talk isn't relevant to the challenge of choking people, so I don't consider it cheating. I kinda wish I could just force choke everyone here though, they're all just fucking annoying. Delphine though, well, Delphine's seriously getting on my nerves.
There's one we know about Parthenax. We know about Parthenax. There's one more thing. 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 We know about
I may have reloaded a save after this to avoid failing the challenge, but even if I didn't, it still would have been worth it. I taunt the dragon into coming to Whiterun, but a guard decides that now is the time to arrest me for my crimes.
There's no mistake. You're a wanted. Be some other god's problem.
Huh, never mind. Thanks, I guess? Anyways, I take great pleasure in choking and binding Odahviing, use my Thainship to avoid responsibility, and then grab Odahviing's horns and ride him hard and good all the way to Skulldaf. Oh, fuck me. As there are a lot of high-level enemies and I'm a sitting duck, I haul ass to the temple in an attempt to escape them, but this only causes all of them to come through the door at once and gang me. Luckily, there's a convenient piece of rubble I can hide behind and slowly chip away at the Draugr in safety. It takes a long-ass time and a bunch of potions, but I eventually manage to lay them all to rest. Now I'm just glad I didn't switch it to Master, as they'd be even more mind-numbingly tanky. I lay waste to some oddly weak spiders for this late in the game, do some basic puzzles, and come face to face with the Draugr Overlord, who, due to his dementia, takes a while to notice I exist. A Draugr Overlord is the first boss you fight in the main story, so if I could beat him at level 2, I can beat him at level 9. As always, I run past the Dragon Priest into Discount Valhalla, and choke the huge shirtless Nord as a sign of dominance until he relents, and lets me into the Hall of Valor. A few shoulder checks and a "with our powers combined" moment later, it's finally time to put down the foul worm Alduin. I chug all the potions in my possession and lay into him with the Highborn power, not giving him a chance to fly away. Once my power runs out, I just chug Magicka potions like they're blue Gatorade so I can keep stacking up the damage, slowly whittling down his health bar while constantly topping up mine. His breath does little damage thanks to the potions, and his meteors I can absorb with the Atronach Stone. Combined with the Heroes 3, I quite easily managed to crush Alduin's windpipe and stop his plan to vor the universe, proving that, yes, you can beat Skyrim with only choking grasp. Now, excuse me while I pray to Talos for forgiveness. Hey everyone, thanks for watching yet another video. I appreciate any support you can give me so I can make similar content for you in the future. If you liked the video, leave a like or subscribe. It only takes a second, but it helps me grow a ton. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike and give constructive criticism so I can improve. Also, leave your ideas for new videos in the comments. I read all the comments that come my way and put your ideas at the end of each video. Who knows, your idea might even become an official video. If you really want to support me, go to my Patreon or become a channel member, which will get you shouted out, guarantee an opportunity to chat with me, and make your ideas much more likely to become reality. Plus, it's only 17 cents a day. Even just 20 subscribers to my Patreon would mean a lot to me, and help me put out even better content. Check me out on Reddit or Discord using the links in the description if you want to chat, or check out my second channel, The Loophole, for some extra content. This is Causal Loop, signing off. Peace.